Okay, a new series that I'm starting for every single Friday, practically covering what we had in the week for the Formula One news. Like a big, really weekly roundup of what we've had and what were the important and key points. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's get started into the F1 really roundup. So the first thing that I wanted to round up was the Michael Schumacher incident that happened this week, which I find so insane. So practically Michael Schumacher was quote unquote interviewed by an AI. So AI technology has gone this far now that they can practically make up a whole entire interview and really give answers that Michael Schumacher was not really saying. I mean, what this is to me is practically just a fraudulent, really, paper. And it was just generated by an AI, the interview, practically giving answers that Michael Schumacher's okay, he's talking now. I mean, saying that he's taking a few steps, like even one of the quotes is, I can, with the help of my team, actually stand by myself and even slowly walk a few steps. My wife and children were blessing me, and without them I wouldn't have even managed. Naturally, they are also very sad how it all happened. They support me and are standing firmly at my side. I mean, it's stuff that hasn't been quoted by Michael, and if it was an actual real interview, we definitely would have heard from it and it would have came from reliable sources. But a lot of people believe it to be real and that it actually was a real interview happening, but it was just an AI generated interview, and there has been no real progress on what Michael is going through right now and what the family is going through with Michael. But what this did cause is now the family is going to sue whoever ended up actually making this AI generated interview and see what they can get from it. I mean, this is very bad, and I can't understand why anybody would in the right mind would want to do something like this. It's giving people false hope, but it's also not letting Michael's family really have the space that they really need for such an incident to happen. It's pretty sad, and I hope to not see this again, but AI is very much involving. It's pretty crazy. From the Mercedes side, Toto Wolff is talking again and talking about how the W14 is prepared for more setbacks, but they have a consistent upgrade package coming as of right now. Practically teasing it, saying that right now it's just going to be upgrades, and I guess we'll have to find out what those upgrades are. But like I even mentioned in a video just recently before, the upgrades that we can expect are going to be coming in Baku and Miami will be mainly cooling, and we won't really see, I think, significant really progress on the car. Now, it might look a little different just because I think the cooling might be put into different spots, but it's purely to see where this chassis can work with when they have their different side pod concept and really the floor concept that's going through it. Because they will need different cooling and they will need their car to look a specific type of way and really incorporate that cooling in a type of fashion that won't take too much drag, because we do know the Mercedes car to be very draggy. So yeah, I guess we'll have to see what Toto Wolff is really talking about, but he has been speaking about it, and same with George Russell. In the news recently, it's been about these guys speaking about how the car is going to keep improving and they're finding substantial gains. So hopefully this keeps continuing and we get a closer grid, because hey, this would be perfect for everybody. Another thing in the news recently is that actually the sprint format will go through for Baku. I made a video earlier on this as well, and I expect this to happen. I think this sprint format is perfect. It's practically, you get one practice, which will be an hour, then you get the qualifying for the race on Friday, then on Saturday you get a qualifying for the sprint, and then the actual sprint race, and then on Sunday our general race day. So it's practically dividing the sprint race and the actual race day into two, which I like. Keep them separate, but also make sure that the points are involved. And now it will actually have the pressure on the drivers to perform, because now points are a lot more important and they can take bigger risks, which I think was the bigger problem with sprint formats before. There wasn't much risk involved. Like, why should I get these 8 points when I can take the 25 and settle for 6 points on a Saturday? It's no reason for them to actually bolt and go towards the top. Now they can take the risk knowing that it won't affect their qualifying position for the actual race on Sunday. So this is a big deal, and I definitely prefer this over what we were going to get, or what we were actually getting. Recently in the news, it was also talked about with Daniel Ricciardo going to Haas, and that it was rumored that he could possibly take maybe K-Mag's spot by the end of the year. this won't happen. I mean, Gunther's already kind of settled the speculation.
Not in the moment. I think Danny is with Red Bull. I don't know for how long. I actually was with Danny on the plane to Australia, so we had a little bit of a chat, but not about the contract, just about general life.
But I also believe that Daniel Ricciardo is not a guy that would want to sign with Haas. There were a lot of videos made and a lot of speculation talking about it. If it's any team he's going to go to, it's going to be a top team. He even talked about it, and I do think that is where he is deserved. He is Daniel Ricciardo. He's not some slouch. So I don't think a team like Haas really even deserves Daniel Ricciardo. I think Daniel Ricciardo needs to go to a bigger team and yet again prove the type of guy that he is. Going to Haas would just be a downgrade from his career. It's not something that he needs in his career, and it's probably better if he was not to even join the team. And I think Gunther Steiner probably feels like they won't get 100% Daniel in this way. He won't be fully there. He even talks about it being a top team that he wants to join. So speculation for this shouldn't really be around. I would find it very interesting if he joined Haas. If he did join Haas, would I be happy to have him back on the grid? Of course, but is it something I want to see? Not necessarily. I want to see him back in a Red Bull or whatever it may be. A top team is what I would love for Daniel Ricciardo. Aston Martin recently also talked about some performance gains they're going to get into Baku. They haven't really mentioned specifically how this rear wing is going to go, but they do talk about having a huge advantage going into really this year and how they can make a major comeback. Mike Crack has also talked about throughout the really week that they don't expect to be number one, but they do expect to be performing a lot better week in and week out because the upgrades are coming for the car and it should be a very aggressive upgrade package, literally resulting the car to change at least 70% of it by the end of the year. Audi also had a showcase recently in China talking more about what they're really ramping up for the 2026 season, and they recently mentioned testing their engines prepping up for the 2026 season. Now, Audi is a team that a lot of people are expecting to come in and be a very strong team. I think it'll take a little bit of time, but they are a team that is exciting and it's a big team. So you gotta love it for the Audi fan base and really for Audi in general coming into the sport. I always love big teams coming in, and I think that this is a good step in the direction for Formula One. If most teams are big and most teams are really, like they're already on it. They already bought a stake into Alfa Romeo in the beginning of this year, which was 25%. 24 or 50% should be going into 2024. 2025 will be 75, and then 100% will be Audi by the time they are in the actual sport in 2026. So this is big news, seeing that they're already testing their engine, and it's exciting. It's exciting. I cannot wait to see how this livery is going to look when it's fully on the car in 2026. I mean, I can't even wait to see how the cars are going to look like in 2026. Should be pretty soon that we actually get like a, I think, like model of how the 2026 car is probably going to look with the regulations and stuff. That'll be pretty cool to see too. And that's really it for the news that I have this week, and really the most important stuff going into this week. Next week we have a race week, so it should be a lot better news and a lot more current events. Let me know your thoughts down below. Please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean the world, and peace.